member meeting. I am Julie McNabb, co-owner of the Interior Design Studio and this year's Chamber Board President. On behalf of the Chamber and the Board, I'd like to welcome you all. If everyone could please take a moment and silence your cell phones, that would be greatly appreciated. I'll pause. We at the Chamber have a busy fall ahead of us. The full content list is, as always, on our website, but the highlights includes September 19th, AI Marketing, Eggs and Expertise with Danny Kimball. You don't want to miss it. And also November 18th is the Athena Awards program. Before we begin our full content, I would like to take a moment and extend our sincere thanks to our sponsors for their generous support today. We do have 3 of them. First up, and unfortunately they were not able to attend due to a last-minute schedule conflict, was Blue Coats of Medina County. They did send this message for me to pass along with you. Blue Coats of Medina County supports first responders and their families in times of crisis. They also support mental health initiatives to prevent those crises. They are to announce their first grant awards and look forward to additional opportunities to support first responders and the community. For more information, visit medinacountybluecoats.org. Felt like I should have had a blue coat on. Please, they do great work. Check them out. Next up, we would like to hear a little bit from Lisa from Integrated Community Solutions. Here is she. Come on down, girl.
Hi everybody, my name is Lisa Morrison and I have a nonprofit called Integrated Community Solutions, and we offer free social programming for people with developmental disabilities of all ages. We're an all-volunteer organization. We are small, but we are mighty. In 2024, we had over 200 hours of free programming for our folks, and our attendance topped 2,000 attendees. So we have a really good presence here in Medina County. We are also planning a residential community that will be for people with and without disabilities. We will be the first community in Ohio that will offer home ownership for our individuals. And finally, we have a golf outing this month. It's our only fundraiser for the year. There are flyers on your table. And we're giving away a free foursome. If you're interested, just give me your business card. And that's it, my time's up. So thank you.
Thank you. Our next sponsor is Armstrong, and telling us a little bit more of what they are up to will be Mike Bricker. Mike, come on down.
First, I'd like to thank the Chamber for allowing us to be one of the sponsors for today's event. I know normally Sam gets up here and talks a little bit about Armstrong and what we're doing in the community and the services we provide, but since today's a little bit different, I want to take the time to thank Mayor Hanwell for all he's done for the city and the community. Him and I have had careers here for 40 plus years. Our paths have crossed many times professionally, and each one of those times he always acted very fair and compassionate and did the best for everyone involved and for the city. So, Mayor, as both a representative of Armstrong and a private citizen of Medina, thank you for everything you've done in our community and for the city, and I wish you and your family all the best for the coming years in the future.
Next up, I'd just like to take a quick moment to thank Panera for donating the delicious desserts. So eat them up, folks. And this next part is our main event. So Jacqueline asked me to introduce the man himself, and I said, well, how much time do I have? Because personally, I've known him for 20 plus years. This could take a while. She said, no, you're going to get the hook. I said, got it. So when I first met Mayor Hanwell, I was just a young, small dispatcher at Medina Police Department. He was chief of police. Even then, he was teaching me simple but lasting lessons, such as treating everyone with the same respect. And of course, yes ma'am, no ma'am, yes sir, no sir. Over the years, his words and actions have shown me what true leadership and public service is all about. Now, to be honest, I probably don't pick up enough litter as I should, and I promise, Mayor, I will do better. I have some time. But more importantly, he has taught me and all of us in this room that collaboration is the foundation for both strong businesses and a strong community. So while he may not carry the title of mayor for much longer, he will always be a leader in Medina. Please help me welcome one last time to the chamber podium our mayor, Dennis Hanwell.
Thank you. Thank you. Don't make this harder than it is. I tried to talk to as many of you as I could, but if I didn't get a chance, I'm thankful and appreciative that you're here. I thank the Chamber for hosting, as well as the sponsors, Armstrong, Blue Coats of Medina County, and Integrated Community Solutions. I'd like to acknowledge you're going to hear more about the department heads here in the presentation, but to the table to my left and then the second one behind them are the department heads, and they're really the key to carrying out the mission of the city and have done an outstanding job for me. Just this month, September 1st, I celebrated my 42nd year with the city, and it's truly been my honor and privilege to serve. And I made a commitment. I had traveled around the country, literally, well, not the whole country. Virginia, I was over in Pennsylvania talking to the Secret Service, and nobody in the world would give me a chance to get into law enforcement because of type 1 diabetes, and Medina did. And because Medina did, I made a commitment that I'll never leave. I'll stay here and run my entire career, and it's been a great career, and I'm thankful for the opportunity that Medina gave me. Before I introduce the elected officials, it would probably be more proper to introduce my family. My mother, Nancy, is here. And Mom, I just want to thank you for the faith base that you've given me. And what I learned in that early church was just what Julie mentioned, collaboration. So we had very little money at that church, but one person was an electrician, and one was a carpenter, and one knew plumbing. And then there were others like my dad and I that were good gophers or holding the ladder and you know, those type things, because you need those too, right? But that instilled in me the success of using the existing people with each of their talents, and that's what I've tried to carry out through my whole career. And Mom, I thank you for that and for my faith. My son John and his wife, my new daughter-in-law, Christy, are here. They're celebrating this month their first anniversary. Nicole, my daughter, and the mother of my two blessed grandchildren is here. I appreciate Nicole having to miss work to be here. Janie Parrish is at the family table, as she should be. She was my campaign manager for all 4 terms, and now picked the best candidate because she's Jim Shields' campaign manager to succeed me. And I forgot one year to mention my wife, Chris. That's not a good thing. Don Simmons, never let me forget that. He was at the table next to her, the poor guy. And Chris as well, never let me forget it. But Chris has been such a rock for me. Because public service can be tough, it can be demanding. I mean, I spent many vacations, many weekends, studying for promotional exams, working on presentations, both from the police side and the mayor's side. And both of my children, John and Christy and Chris, have endured and suffered a great deal throughout my career. And Chris, I appreciate all that you've done and all of your tolerance. The elected officials that we have here, will start with the city. Ward 1 Councilman Chet Simmons. If you want to stand or wave. At-large Councilman Paul Rose. Ward 4 Councilman Jim Shields. And our Finance Director, Keith Durham. From the County Commissioners, Commissioner Steve Hambley is here. From our state, we have our own Senator Mark Romanchuk. And Representative Sharon Ray. Also within Medina County, we have Julie McNabb, who you just heard from. She's on the Westfield Center Village Council. Julie. And then representing U.S. Senator Husted is Duncan McMillan. Representing Congressman Miller in their office right here next to the 1969 courthouse is Ray Paletta. And last but not least, representing Ohio State Auditor Tina Ludwig. So with the council, everything I'm going to talk about today, all of these things are a work in progress and a collaboration and a togetherness between the city council and the administration. Obviously, the administration can't do things without the funding of the council and the cooperation of the council. The other thing that I want to mention is that although this is the 2025 State of the City, which is generally the year before, this is kind of a culmination of 16 years while I was in office. So you'll notice some of the things may be dated just a little bit. And then I also wanted to mention Miles and Jared for the wonderful work they do here on our State of the City. So the first topic we're going to address is different projects in the city in the past 16 years. So the Morning Rotary was able to get a piece of steel from the Twin Towers in New York, and we looked at location after location after location to try to find the best place for it. And after a bunch fell through, we were able to secure the property and create a park adjacent to the Medina Fire Station. There's no better place for it. Next, you'll see the changing station. This is from the Board of Developmental Disabilities. We looked at trying to put one in the public restrooms, but just didn't have the space for it. The advantage of this is we can bring it to every single event we have on the square, and those that are committed to wheelchairs or other mobility devices that can't use the regular restroom can still enjoy the event. And you may wonder, because I'm a wondering guy, you may wonder how many people would get the benefit of that. This past Art in the Park, we had 33 different individuals with disabilities use that. That was 8 children, 8 seniors, and 17 adults. That tells me it's good to have it there because those people couldn't be there otherwise. The Bicentennial Commons, we created a park there. We called it Bicentennial Park. Murray Van Epp is in the audience here. They donated that fountain to beautify the park. By calling it a park, those that aren't familiar with municipal work, then that opens up state dollars that we can use for improvements and enhancements. So we have the fountain there. We have public restrooms that are permanent instead of porta-johns like when I started, and it's been a great investment for the city. as well as a bicentennial bench in the corner there. Next is the dog park. We moved it over to Mellert Park. The reason for that is we had about 20,000 square feet in two different areas at Memorial Park, but it was kind of in a low, depressed area. And that was hard to keep the grass up, hard to keep it in good shape. Here we have 33,000 in three different areas, 33,000 square feet, three different areas, and it's being very well used there. We expanded the parking lot. We have a splash pad there, so families can come. There's a pavilion. Families can come and enjoy not only the dog park, but the entire park. Next is going to be the Miracle League field. You see a photo of it there. So they approached the Stevenson and Lincoln Foundations because that little brown square you see, if it's hard to appreciate because it's not really an infield, the infield was turfed but not the outfield, which meant anybody in a wheelchair or a mobility unit was unable to play the outfield, which just didn't seem right to the Miracle League. So the foundations paid to turf the outfield and also paid for the home run fence. And what a great community asset that is, again, to make those with those challenges feel as much a part of the community as everyone else. Next is the RC Raceway that we have over at Reagan Park. And when I was in high school, you know how the counselors would talk to you about different career opportunities and that. Nobody told me that you could be a professional remote race car driver. They also didn't tell me you could be a professional frisbee golf thrower too. But yet people from Medina, because of both of these amenities, are professionals in each of those. I probably wouldn't have done well in either of them. The municipal pool is another great asset that we did a number of years ago with the support of council. Again, Murray Van Epp and Sue donated that water feature there at the shallow end, and it's been such a draw for the community. And some people don't realize that the people that use that pool or our splash pads simply can't afford. They're not in a financial position to join the rec center, even though we offer some discounts. So that's why that's so important. With our bike trails and paths, we added a nice trail along North Court Street when we did that widening. We added lights along East Reagan Parkway, and we've collaborated very positively with the County Parks Group to try to connect our trails to their trails. So now you can go from North Court Street all the way down Reagan, through Reagan Park, across Lake Medina, and get to Suma, where we're going to connect it to the Roscoe Ewing Park. This is one of our two parking decks. Thanks to our state legislators, we got a $1 million grant. This is the one outside City Hall that we coupled with $3.1 million from city money, and we put a TIF in place. What a TIF is development happens that around it that benefits from the parking deck. Then the city gets repaid the property tax to pay for that. And last but not least, I just wanted to talk about the flower pots. Jansen Worley is a great person for plants, for trees, horticulture, and we were looking for something instead of planting flowers in the sidewalks like we used to do, because the sidewalk gets too hot and they don't survive. So we started incrementally and grew to 72 pots, and you can't get to the downtown without passing one of those. Okay, Jared. Next is promoting our local business, serving our community. Flip 2 pages. And we're just so thankful for the staff. They make us proud every day. So when I first took over as mayor, we were closing offices during the lunch period and some offices at 4 o'clock, although City Hall was open to 5. And that didn't sit very well with me. So we talked and strategized the only way you can keep them open the whole time, because people still have to take lunch or people are off sick or on vacations, is to cross-train everybody, keep those offices open the entire time City Hall is open. And Keith Durham is separately elected. He's not under the, his office is not under the mayor's authority, and he was very gracious in doing the same, because it doesn't do any good if you fill out the paperwork and you're ready to pay for your permit, but you can't do it. The other thing is positive customer service model. I took the community policing model from the police department and created what we called a community government model. And it's where you greet people, you help people, you take them to the office they're looking for if they need, and treat them like customers, because they don't have to live here, they don't have to have their business here, and the better we treat them, we're different of how we do things than many other cities, and people notice that and start telling their friends to move here, to bring their businesses here, their family members. And I think about this quote from Ralph Waldo Emerson, and Julie hit on it at the beginning, and it's this: what you do speaks so loudly, I cannot hear what you say. So example from leadership to show the staff what we want them to do, what we expect them to do, and what we do to model to them is extremely important to us. We also reorganized City Hall to put planning and zoning, the building department, and economic development all at one location. That's ideal for a new business coming in and not having to bounce like a pinball that I saw when I first took over. Then Dan was gracious enough to work with his staff, Dan Gladish, our building official, to issue next day permits and same day permits. And the reason I'll tell you how that happened, because I don't just sit at home and think about these things. How that happened was I saw a mother come in early June to fill a permit out to get a pool, and her kids are in their swimsuits. Well, okay. Well, at that time, we had 30 days to review that permit. So now in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, she gets her approval in 30 days. She calls Mr. Pool Contractor. He can get her in 2.5 months from now. That pool might get erected this summer, but those kids are never going to get in it. There's got to be a better way. So Dan was gracious enough. We do same-day permits. If it's something we have to go out on the property and look at, it's next-day permits. And we're turning permits over, which is keeping the contractors busier, which is investing in our community, which is raising the taxes, and everybody benefits from it. And the whole goal is to find solutions versus obstacles. Okay, Jared. Next is promoting our local businesses. That picture you see there is a drone shot of the groundbreaking of the new Acme that opened just a couple weeks ago down on South Court Street there. That's the ribbon cutting at the Myers. And we do our ribbon cuttings with the Main Street Medina, the Chamber, our state representatives, our county elected officials, because we want to show the business that we're appreciative. And we bring a whole entourage because it's important to them to know it's not just the city support, it's the county support, it's the state support, and that we're here to help them no matter what happens. And we're proud of that. We're also very lucky in the city to have a vast diversity of businesses and industry. Some cities have like a steel plant or an auto plant, and that closes and it devastates the city because that's a good preponderance of their taxes. Here we have such diversity that we're not affected by individual closures. We don't like to see it, but we're not affected by it. So the Myers, when they opened, they issued 5 checks to various nonprofits. Cups Cafe, our fire department, Feeding Medina County. We have the Foundry Social and indoor karting that's been drawing a lot of people, outside people, to our community. Not only do they come there, then they may leave and go to dinner or stop and get fuel or stop and get a sandwich. So the entire community benefits from that. We'll see Ravago here shortly in the photos once the ribbon cuttings are done. Ravago was looking for a place. They're at the corner of, this is the Foundry Social now. They're at the corner of Lake and Smith. and you'll see what looks like silos out there if you've ever been by it. It's 50 or 500,000 square feet under roof with another 5,000 roughed in. What they needed is a location where they could offload 40 to 45 rail cars at a time. So they have a whole rail yard adjacent to the plant, and as a result of that, they can manufacture and change the dynamics of the plastics, and then some goes out by truck and some goes out by rail, and that location was ideal for them, and we really had to parcel some different ones together. Ravago is Belgium owned. We have the Legacy Hotel and Convention Center, which you're seeing there. It's progressing very well. They're I think on the 4th floor right now, and then they'll work on the penthouse unit, and that's going to be a great addition to our community, because now people, instead of coming for a wedding or people coming for our fall festival, they can literally come for 2-3 days and see the rest of the community, stop out at Root Candles, go over to the Foundry, see what all our community has to offer, eat at the different restaurants. Carlisle Brake and Friction, they were looking to close a plant in the United States, and it was either Texas, Medina, or Oklahoma. And after they met with Bethany and Kimberly and I, and we told them how we do things here in Medina, and they'd be best to keep the resources here, they closed Oklahoma, brought all those jobs to Medina, nearly doubled the size of the plant, and then they were so impressed once they worked their way through the processes with the plant expansion that they brought most of their management team from Northeast Ohio down to Medina as well. That management team alone was close to $5 million in payroll. So that just kind of shows how once you prove to people that you're doing what you're saying you're doing, it works out very well. We had a smaller company called Gabyak Trucking who they didn't come to the United States until 1999 from Ukraine. It's a logistics company that picks up product on the Pacific coast and then spreads it through the entire United States. The father came over, got a job as a truck driver. When his children got a little bit older, they started their own company, and now they're delivering product throughout the United States, but based out of Medina, Ohio. AI Root Candle, we have a 5th generation, and that's the McJack candy you're seeing there. And if I missed it, also Sandridge Foods. In my terms as mayor, they've had 3 different expansions, and they also have the 3rd generation, operating the plant. Okay, Jared. So my whole goal in running the city operations is to try to find solutions for whatever obstacles there may be. So nobody in their wildest dreams could have imagined that one day you're going to get a note from the governor's office saying everything is closing down. Shut the doors, including municipal government. I mean, how do you serve the public when the public can't come in to see you? And Krista, our health commissioner, God bless her, her and I had a lot of difficult conversations because I was willing to do anything I had to do to get the public back into our building. But the first thing we did, the day after that memo came out that all the businesses had to close, because they still have to pay for their utilities and their rent and everything else, was we had a meeting in the basement of City Hall and said, we will work with you. We let them use the city logo and create ways to pick up the food at the curb to keep that revenue coming. Actually, it was a blessing in disguise, because now that they're reopened, they can serve people inside and the carryout, because a lot of it hasn't gone away. This is some examples of having the meetings with social distancing, having to wear masks, doing them on Zoom. The advantage of that, again, talk about blessings out of something so tragic. This is the City Hall renovation where we raised the floor, lowered the ceiling, and added all new lights and an improved air movement system for the health and safety of our staff. through funding from the federal government. And but the advantage of those remote meetings is that now people can still watch those meetings remotely. Even though we're there like this, present, they can see it and they can send in a question. They can watch what their government is doing without having to come in for it. So it covers a broader base of people. Our vehicle maintenance department handles every piece of mechanical equipment in the city, from weed whackers to our fire trucks to everything in between. And they do a great job with that. They're also very innovative. When we were doing some work on the pool, they drained all the water out of the pool, and there's something in there where you can move it. It's called a head wall. I didn't know what that was at first, so that's why I'm explaining it. But you can move it to create different lengths in the pool. Well, when you get the water out of there, it doesn't move, right? There's no way to move it. So they came up with a plan with rollers where we could lift it with a hoist, put a roller under each end on blocks and move it to do the conditioning. You wouldn't think that's related to video or vehicle maintenance, but it's the kind of way their minds work, and they helped us out immensely for that. It's also much more efficient for us to do those in-house. If we sent those same repairs out, it would cost us per hour 2 to 3 times the amount than we're doing it internally here. And each department pays for their own. This again is the municipal court. We're renovating, and we thank Commissioner Hambley and the other 2 commissioners for entering into a lease for us, which will take care of, we're hoping will take care of the municipal court needs for the next 50 years. And we had been looking for a solution for over 20 years. This way, we can still share the security entry point. We pay 20% because we have 1 judge. They pay 80% because they've got 4 judges. And same thing with the holding area where the prisoners come from the jail. They stay in the holding area until they're ready to bring them up to the court for the safety of everybody in the court. And again, 20%, 80% based on the number of judges. And that's very fair. It was a very fair lease, and it will nearly double the size of the municipal court. And then last but not least is some water line replacements. If you tried to go to Cool Beans over the last 2 months, I apologize. I know that was quite a disruption, but we're going to pave it in the next week or 2, and it'll be a brand new water line. The water line, by the way, was over 100 years old. It's a brand new water line, all new services, and where they tore the road up will be an all new road too. So I'm hoping that the disruption was worth the wait. So Julie mentioned collaborations, and that's been the key to my success, and I think the city's success. And I told you I learned that back from going to a small church up in Brunswick. How everybody working together can do things much more efficiently than a small group can. So we collaborate with the Friends of the Cemetery. Some of you may not know the name Amos Mears. Amos Mears in the 1950s built the entire industry on the west side of the city. And people say, why do you have your industry on the west side of the city and 71 is west of the city? Well, that's because 71 was built in the mid to late 70s. Versus the 50s when the industry was built. And you can't just switch them now, right? So Amos Mears worked with Simmons Brothers Construction to create all that industry on West Smith and Lake Road that you see there. His son, Edward Mears, had a large ranch down in Texas, and apparently a very successful and lucrative ranch, because he left a large endowment then to the Spring Grove Cemetery for the improvements that we do there. And we're still being blessed by that endowment. And the city and the Cemetery Commission partners very well on that. Medina County, I told you we collaborate on ribbon cuttings, the courthouse. We also lease the square from them. Main Street Medina is next. They've really been a blessing to the city. I challenge them. We want to do more events, and our prayers have been answered. It didn't help with traffic congestion, but it did help with creating a destination, And if you talk to any of the businesses in and around the square, when there's a vacancy, we have 6 or 7 people trying to get into that space. That's how desired the square in the historic district is, and it's because of the work of Main Street. Medina City Schools, a great deal due to Councilman Shields also being employed there. They got us that canine you see, which is for explosives, handguns, as well as a therapy dog. That's why it's not the traditional German Shepherd. We also built our rec center when they were doing the high school expansion. They housed the Medina TV studio, where a lot of the programming and editing occurs. Our civil service office is shared with the school paying a portion, the city paying a portion. The other thing I'm big on is saving tax dollars, not just city tax dollars, but everybody's tax dollars. So when the city bids for concrete or salt for the winter or aggregate, which is stone and dirt and those things, we let the school ride in on that because we're using much more than the school is, so they can save tax dollars for people paying into the schools. Likewise, they use a whole lot more copy paper than we use, so we ride on their bid for the copy paper, and they just bring over, a skid with ours. So again, we're saving money, they're saving money. We have 3 school resource officers assigned to the schools, and they also partnered with us to create pickleball courts. Murray and Sue Van Up, I mentioned before, and this is not a foundation. Murray corrected me on that recently. This is Murray and Sue invested their monies, and they're taking some of those investments and investing back into the city, which we greatly appreciate. So they helped with the bicentennial bench, the fountain, the water feature at Memorial Pool, the engine house renovation, spin bikes at the rec center, bike lane signage, and playground equipment for Roscoe Ewing Park. The Medina Lions Club helped with the Miracle League. The Letha House takes care of small projects on the square. It's kind of a smaller foundation. The Feckley Foundation, in my terms as mayor, has donated over $171,000 to projects in the city. The Morning Rotary, again, did the 9/11. Jim Shields and I both serve on the Stevenson Foundation. In my time as mayor, they've donated $734,000 to the City of Medina projects. The Thomas and Jill Lincoln Foundation has donated $2.4 million in the community and are still helping out. And the Park Foundation, just last night, council appropriated another $50,000. They've donated 2 $50,000 grants to the police department and 3 $50,000 grants to the fire department. Our churches, this is the National Day of Prayer events. Pastor Ruffin is here and has done a great job of getting the other pastors to collaborate. When I took over as mayor, each of the churches were kind of doing their own things in a silo. And we kind of preach collaboration. Let's work together. Let's have these events at different locations so those congregations can get to take part, and the congregations can see the other congregations and work together. And we have a great deal of events that our churches have day in and day out throughout the year, annual events. Ken Cleveland Foundation paid for all brand new equipment at the Ken Cleveland Park. And then last but not least, the Kiwanis. The Breakfast Kiwanis does the Jump Park landscaping and also hosts the Sports Hall of Fame. The Noon Kiwanis, and again, Jim is responsible for this. They do a Christmas shopping program for children identified by the schools that wouldn't have a Christmas otherwise. And they identify those kids, they team them up with adults, and they take them on a shopping trip to have a Christmas that year. They do Arbor Day trees to 3rd graders every year and a 50th anniversary couples luncheon. Okay, Jer. So who we are. The first is this promise of Christmas. What you're seeing here is the devastation from Hurricane Helene and the destruction. That's the mayor, Mayor O'Leary, who I had the chance to meet here. And I shared with him, not recently, thank God, but Medina was destroyed. The square was destroyed entirely 2 different times by fires. And what you're seeing there today is a result of vision and work and effort, and you all can do the same. You just have the faith, put the team together, make it work. So what the promise of Christmas was, if those of you that may not be aware, is Mark Claus comes to me, and in his mind, he wants to bring up busloads of people from Chimney Rock, South Carolina, to have a Christmas because they couldn't, because they're living in tents and trailers and have no money. And he wanted to know if the city would support him. And I said, well, the city doesn't just support this. We would do it with the chamber, we would do it with Main Street, and we'd do it with Medina County Convention and Visitors Bureau, because that's how we do things. But I need to get it out of your head and down on paper so people can see what it is we're trying to accomplish. He did that. We got a great deal of donations. We brought them here. You're seeing some of those slides. We recreated the parade. We recreated the fireworks. Everything that we do for our own candlelight walk. And then 2 interesting stories. One was a young child, about 4 or 5, and they told Mark Claus, I stayed up from 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. at the hotel just to watch the snow come past the light. Just to watch the snow, because they don't see that. The second thing was, there was a young man at the dinner. There was a dinner Friday night, and then the events were all day Saturday. And he had headphones on, but he always had his right hand up. And turns out his headphone was broken. I thought he was like maybe just a nervous thing. He just kept his hand there. And at the culmination Saturday, they let everybody go through Castle Noel for free, go down the slide, take pictures of everybody, and they took him over the reception area, and they had bags lined up based on sex of the child and age of the child. And his age, there's the bags for his age boys, and doesn't he pick a bag that has a brand new set of headphones that he'd been looking at online and couldn't afford. That was the solar eclipse you saw there in April of 2024. We had several events, 3-day events. This is the Great Race, where they came from northeast of the country. Medina was one of their lunch stops. And at the culmination of the race, after they stop at all of these places, some for lunch, some for overnight, they then vote for what they thought the best places were to stay overnight or for lunch or whatever. And lo and behold, Medina was selected as the best lunch stop out of all the places that they stopped. This is on the square, July of 2020. It's a Miss Wheelchair USA. You can see obviously with that date and by the appearance of the young ladies, that was right in the midst of the COVID season. And they asked us if we would host this up on our square. And one of the young ladies, the far one on the right, you might be able to see it with your screen. My smaller one, I can't see it, but she was the one that won because she has the crown on her head there. Thanks again to Main Street. We have a robust farmers market each Saturday from May through October, and it's good for those that create things to sell at the farmers market, whether it's produce or selling whatever the wares are. It's good for the businesses around there because obviously people are going to stop there, and it's also good just socially to interact with one another. And then showing on the screen there are just some of the various awards that in the past 16 years the city has been recognized for. And we're very proud again. You know, it's not It's not anything that I did. It's the work of the department heads, the work of the staff, and the collaboration of the council that makes Medina so special. Okay, Jared. The next slide is on finance. So the last full year when I took over, January 1st, 2010, was 2009, obviously. And at that time, we collected a little over $12 million in income tax. And one of the things that I campaigned on was raising the income tax revenues without raising the income tax rates for employees or for residents. And in 15 years, because we'll still have 2025, but in 15 years, we went from 12 million to 21 million, over 21 million, which is about almost a 70% increase. And I'm proud of that, and I'm proud of you, because that wasn't the city's doing. We could make the processes work better, but it was investments in our industry, investments in our businesses, hiring people in each of your industries and businesses. That's where the income tax is coming from. And the city is reaping the benefits of that. I also need to give credit again back to Dan for the improved and timely processes that it takes to accomplish that. And again, by bringing those three different departments together, economic development, building, planning, and zoning, and getting all the questions answered first shot, that's where it worked. Next, I just want to recognize each of the department heads. Dan is repeatedly praised at the ribbon cuttings. He's very keen at finding solutions versus obstacles, and the city was awarded the Board of Building Standards David A. Smith Award, the only building department in the state. Jared Fry runs the Medina TV program. He helps with these State of the City presentations. When we had to go through the COVID, he knew how to set up the cameras to keep us all separated. He helped with the City Hall remodel and the website updates and redesign. City Council, for our council members that are here, I told them this last night in an abbreviated presentation, none of this at all could be done without the collaboration between the council and the administration. People told me I wanted to have a diplomatic and supportive relationship, and they told me you can't do that. Well, I'm telling you, we're closing out 16 years, and it's worked just fine if you try. Economic development, Kimberly's applied for over $4.5 million grant in grants and job creation and new business attraction, and that's directly responsible for the income tax increases. Our engineer, Pat, has constructed 2 parking decks, oversaw the North Court widening and path, State Route 18 widening. He's replaced all the industrial roads on Smith and Lake, streets, water lines, water tower painting, and is now working on the courthouse project. Keith cooperated with me to keep the finance window open from 8 to 5, as I told you. He's also very helpful with the budget prep and keeping city fiscally sound. Our fire chief, Walters, when I took over as mayor, we only had daytime staffing Monday through Friday. We've expanded that to second shift staffing, then weekends, and then now 24/7, just this February. We're the only fire department in the country that we're aware of that is doing that with part-time staffing. And the chief's received numerous awards for his heroism and innovation. Greg Huber's our law director. He represents all of the agencies in the municipal court for the northern 2/3 of Medina County, so not just the city. He handles lawsuits, civil issues, and every contract or agreement that I have to sign, he reviews. And he's also the municipal airport manager. Jansen Worley, when he was promoted to parks director, I asked him if he'd take over cemetery and forestry too to free Nino up a little bit. He did that so well that when the rec center director resigned during COVID, I asked him to take the rec center as well, and he's done a great job with that, and I'm proud of him. Andrew Dutton is in charge of the community development department. He's overseen numerous builds and projects through the boards and commissions at a rapid rate. And we've also had trainings with these boards and commissions so that they're following what the law says and not what their individual opinions are of these different buildings. Chief Kinney reinvigorated the community policing efforts. He's very collaborative with other police agencies. We're preparing staff for the future and future advancements. Sometimes there'll be warrants for people, and the department doesn't want to come get them. We don't have enough staffing, we're not going to come get them. Well, the chief, if these are problem people in our community, we'll bring them to you. We don't want them here, right? So we'll take our staff, we'll take them back to the department that issued the warrant and said, okay, here's your prize. We're not keeping them in Medina. And I'm thankful for that. Nino Piccoli, I got a little behind on the slides. I'll catch up. Nino Piccoli, what can I say? Nino's been a staple for us and a calming force through every challenge we've had. He handles the street department, sanitation, water, vehicle maintenance, but he's also the go-to person for utility issues, resident concerns, contractor concerns, and there's nothing he wouldn't do for the betterment of the city. Tracy, you saw our picture, she's here as well, is my administrative assistant. She took over after Sherry retired. She reorganized the entire office. I'm still trying to find things. But she helps me. But she's very keen, with the residents. And I shared this with Skip Sipos. Dawn was very good. Sherry was very good. Tracy is excellent. Because for some reason in the world, and maybe it's just my friendly nature, but people think that the mayor should get the call if the neighbor's dog is barking, or the ice cream truck's music is a little bit too loud, or the neighbor's radio is disturbing me. She's very good at directing them to the appropriate agencies, and otherwise I'd have to work about 36 hours a day. And as we near the end here, these are some photos of the grandchildren. Madison is 9 now, and Aiden's 5. And I think about how blessed they are. They've got great parents. They've got a great family support. Their parents take them to the ocean, take them to Disney, take them to the zoo, take them to the air show. But with 44 years in law enforcement, I also know there's kids in our community that aren't like that, aren't treated that way. They're from broken homes, or from financially insecure residences. There's drug use, there's alcohol use. So I told the council last night, and I would simply implore you today to not lose back to the needy in our community. We care for them, we support them, we help them any way we can, because all of them should have the same opportunity. And I simply ask you, our seniors, our needy, our children, let's make sure we take care of them. I started with the city on September 1st, 1983. I've been honored and blessed to serve this community. And I just want to thank each of you for all you've done to support me, to support the city, to support my staff. And I ask and pray that God bless each of you, your staff, and your family. It's been an honor. Thank you.